Welcome back to another Top Floor Women replay. I'm Melanie Ake, founder of Everyday Leaders, co-founder of Scale for Women, and co-sponsor for Top Floor Women. Top Floor Women is Indy's Southside premier networking community. We've had such a great turnout for our live in-person networking events. We meet the first Wednesday of every month. You can go to topfloorwomen.org to register for our monthly programs. You can become a coffee sponsor or register to be a speaker and share your expertise. You can watch the replay right here, right now. Thank you for being a part of our growing Indy Southside premier women's networking events. Welcome to Top Floor Women. It's great to see everybody. I have lots of new faces, and our speakers bring us all kinds of other people that have been following them and connected. So excited to have you guys here this morning. This is Top Floor Women. This has been going on for about 7 years, I think. Mindy Epstein started this in Franklin. And so we have kind of Angie Redmond in the back there. We've carried this on, and we're excited because we've got speakers lined up through April next year. So if you want to be a speaker, get on topfloorwomen.org and register to be a speaker. We would love to have you do this too. Paula's being brave today. We have lots of announcements. First of all, really quickly, I'm Melanie Ake. So if you don't know me, if we haven't met, my company is Everyday Leaders. It's a faith-based leadership company. I have an event going on January the 13th. So if you go to topfloorwomen.org, you're going to get a pop-up, and it's going to say, Live to Lead. Yes. That's the event that's happening. So I'm going to do a replay opportunity for you guys. It is a John Maxwell leadership event that has Marcus Buckingham, Ryan Lake, Kendra Scott, and 2 sessions with John Maxwell. So if you register for that, you can use code EL for Everyday Leaders. You're actually getting $25 off the normal public price. And here's the great thing. The person that has collaborated with us is giving $25 to my Girls Youth Leadership nonprofit. So you actually, for $55, get to see the replay for the 5 hours. And then you get to come to the event on January the 13th. That's kind of my give back, because I think this material is so valuable that it will change your business, it will change your life, and I want to invite you to come. So that's the first thing. Second thing, again, welcome to Top Floor Women. And we are recording this. We'd like to get pictures. So as a reminder, we're going to get a picture underneath the Christmas tree with everybody before you leave. And I want to thank Angie Redmond for, this is like 24 months, girl. We've been doing this together, virtual and back in person. So thanks for being here. Angie spoke last month. If you want to hear about her speech that she did with Julie Blair Pitts, it's on the recording for topfloorwomen.org. You can go and just check that YouTube link, and we've got a playlist of all the speakers, and she also has a new book, so pretty exciting. Next thing, Shannon Tankersley sponsoring this space for us. JP the Geek, I'm going to give her a second, and then we'll hear from our coffee sponsor. Joe says stand right here. There's the trap door.
All right, I think I'm in the right spot. Thank you all so much for coming today, and I really want to thank everybody who did bring us a toy today. We're really excited. We'll deliver those on Saturday to Greenwood Mall, where WRTV will be collecting for the toy drive. I think it's about 4 to 6 different charities that they spread these toys out throughout the season. So I am with JP the Geek. We are your managed IT and cybersecurity experts. So we really do have a strong focus into cybersecurity, because unfortunately 60% of small businesses will go out of businesses as a result of a breach. And most people think that it won't happen to them, that they're too small, because you hear about Staples just got hit, and 23 and more, whatever the genetic whatever, they just got hit too. That's all you hear about in the news, but unfortunately, small to medium-sized businesses are the bigger target because they usually don't build their defenses. They will 9 times out of 10 pay the ransom because they are panicked and they need their data back. And they are what we call the guinea pigs for these companies to test their new ways of breaching the larger companies. So we tell people you're not too small to be attacked, you're just too small to make the news. So thank you so very much for coming today. We're really just pleased to be able to do this every month. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. So if you go to top4women.org, you'll see JP the Geek all over because they have sponsored this space for us. So we'd like to give back to them. Also, next, we have our coffee sponsor, Mary Ellen Brown. If you want to be a coffee sponsor, you can sign up, you can register, and you get a few minutes to talk about your business and bring a 1-pound bag of coffee. So thank you for that.
Oh, okay. Am I in alignment? Okay. As you said, I'm Mary Ellen Brown, and I'm with Transitions Hospice. Today is 1 month on the job, so if I fumble through this, please have grace. Has anybody here ever utilized a hospice agency before? So you know it's a beautiful gift to your loved one. There's a lot of misconceptions about hospice, but it really is a beautiful, caring thing that you can do for your loved one. It is a Medicare benefit, so it is 100% paid by Medicare, and it's just not the care. It includes all your durable medical equipment. So a lot of people don't understand that, like if you need a hospital bed next to your regular bed, if you need incontinent briefs, that's covered. Wheelchairs, toilet risers, anything, shower chairs, all of those sort of things come with hospice. Along with that, we have a multiple disciplinary team. So we have a social worker, we have a chaplain, we of course have nurses and CNAs. One of the things that kind of differentiates us from other hospice agencies is we work 24 hours a day. We don't have a triage. When you call, a live person's going to pick up and we're coming to you. We have 12-hour shifts, so we have people scheduled, so it's not like if you call at 2 a.m, you're waking someone up. Someone is working. We also have vigil sitting. This is if someone's declining and family wants to be at the side all the time, but they need their rest too. So we have volunteers or some of our staff, CNAs usually, will come in and sit with the loved one while family recharges their batteries. You call, we come. I just said that. One of the other things I wanted to showcase is, I don't know if any of you are familiar with CHAP scores, but that is what hospice is rated on through the Medicare program. So after a loved one passes, they get a survey from the government asking how the hospice company did. We just got back the last quarter's ratings, and we had a 100% satisfaction rate. In Indianapolis, our office, the Indiana average is 84%, and the national average is 82%. So we really, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. I think that's all I wanted to say to you. So if you have a loved one, please reach out to me. I do have some business cards here. Just got them. So anybody have a December birthday? Just Tammy? Going once? Going twice? Happy birthday!
That's awesome. Thank you, Mary Ellen. One last announcement real quick. Shannon, Amanda, right here. We're on a bunco committee. So we're having a bunco event at the end of January. And so the details are on your table, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew if you don't have one, let us know and we will get you the information. We're looking to get 100 people in the seats to have some fun and raise some money. So for Allies, Allies organization. And you can read all about that. All right. So without further ado, Paula, we are super excited to have you having the courage to get up here and do this. We appreciate you. Yeah. So Paula Hornback, I'm going to turn it over to her, and we'll get started. So thank you again for coming.
Good morning, ladies. Good Thank you for coming today, and I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed the holidays. Does everyone have a stress survey? We'll talk. One more? Yes. There you go. Pass that to her. Mm-hmm. So let's dive in and get started. So by the show of hands, how many of you know approximately how many miles are on your car? Let's see some hands. How many of you know approximately how much money is in your bank accounts? Right. How many of you know your fasting insulin? A few. How many of you know your fasting glucose? Vitamin D levels? I find it interesting that most of us know so much about the outside world, things that are easily replaced, but we don't know what's going on inside our bodies. And so today, we're going to talk about the importance of taking control of your health. I own Functional Health 360. I help people get healthy from the inside out. My passion, some people say their mission, my passion is to empower as many people as possible to live their best life. And today we're going to talk about what I do. I belong to a global organization with a lot of different clinical experts. It's called Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. So throughout the presentation, I will be referring to Functional Diagnostic Nutrition as FDN. We're going to briefly go over the stress response, the wellness scale, what is metabolic chaos, my FDN methodology that I use within my Rebuilding Health program, and how I'm different from other standard medical care. And then at the end, we'll have time for closing comments and questions. So if you have a question, please write it down, and at the end, I will answer your question. If I don't have the answer, I will find it, hopefully. There's a stress survey, and I want to use this time as a moment to really self-reflect on your health. Feel free to return it to me at the end of the presentation. If you want to keep it for yourself, that's fine as well. I like to do this survey because it keeps me informed on the latest stressors people are experiencing. So just a brief history of FDN. Reed Davis is the founder of FDN. He's an environmentalist attorney, and so in the day, he took care of the forest, the trees, and the soil, and he decided, I want to take care of people instead. And so he ran tens of thousands of labs and tests on men, women, and children, and he observed who got better and who did not. He identified the needs gap and helped end the cycle of trial and error. So he developed our FDN methodology and the Dress for Health Success program. My name is Paula Hornback. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I'm also a health coach. I belong to the National Society Health Coaching, the only organization credentialed to help those with moderate to chronic health disease. I'm also a personal trainer for, 20 years. I'm a licensed respiratory therapist, health coach, and also I am an Ifbb pro athlete bodybuilder. A mother of 2 adult children, 32, 31, a granddaughter who's 9, and a wonderful husband, and I have 2 dogs. So let's focus on you. Have you ever felt like this in the morning? When the last time you were at the doctor's office, you had a cluster of symptoms, and he looks at you and says, we did blood work, everything looks normal. And you're sitting there like a deer in headlights, like, how can it be normal? I feel like crap. And so we know that normal values does not indicate health. Today, the standard clinical ranges are so wide. So as long as you're in there, you're considered normal. These clinical ranges get wider and wider year after year. Why? Because the population is becoming more sick than ever. But the lab results are not the problem, whether they're considered normal or outside of the range. They are the result of the problem. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about being caught in this cycle of trial and error. So we start out at the doctor's office. I support doctors. Doctors have their place. That's a great place to start. They can rule out anything serious, lab work, colonoscopies, whatever he may feel that you need. But you go there, nothing serious, you don't feel well, you have a cluster of symptoms, and he's like, you're normal. So he'll send you home maybe with some thyroid medication or antidepressants, what have you. And you may feel a little better for a bit. Those symptoms may go away. But then you decide to hire a trainer like me or a nutrition program, whatever it may be, and you may feel better. The symptoms may go away. You may shed a few pounds. Weight loss resistance and hormones is my niche. And then you might go to a local wellness center, what have you, whatever it may be. They're great. And you find a gadget to help with those symptoms. It may go away, it may work. But you're caught in this cycle of trial and error. Your needs are not being met. And so you try all this information, all these different programs, and it's just not working. It may work for some people, but not everyone. So let's talk about not feeling good and talk about what causes that. Stress. Here's some statistics. Approximately 60% of all adults have at least one chronic disease. 43% of adults have at least suffer from adverse health effects from stress. And 75 to 90%, I would say closer to 90% of all doctor visits are stress-related ailments or complaints. Have you ever felt like this lady in the picture, or do you now? Okay, stress. I found this picture. I just loved it. She's definitely in that fight or flight, right? Cortisol is not the problem. By the show of hands, how many of you know cortisol is the main stress hormone? Great. We need cortisol. We need cortisol to wake up in the morning. We need cortisol to function. We need cortisol to speak in front of people. We need cortisol to meet deadlines. We need cortisol, right? Acute stress, eustress, good stress keeps us strong, keeps our immunity strong, keeps us resilient. It builds our vital reserve. But this girl, she's in acute stress, the fight or flight. What happens in the fight or flight is when you want to get to that safe place, all the blood and the nutrients is going to all the extremities, the brain, the eyes, respiratory rate, everything's increased. We're not digesting food at the time because our bodies do not care about digesting food because we are trying to get to that safe place. But do we have bears chasing us today? No. We have external stressors and internal stressors. Does our body know the difference if we're being chased by a bear or whether we have these stressors? Absolutely not. So cortisol is our friend. But what happens when we are being chased by bears 24/7, day after day, year after year? We become sick. Cortisol is not the problem. Cortisol is still trying to keep us alive and in balance or homeostasis. Chronic stress will weaken our immune system, cause heart disease, cardiac problems, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and these digestive issues will come about because we're stuck in that fight or flight. Remember, when we're in the fight or flight, we don't digest our food, right? So we need to learn to get in that rest and digest system, the opposite. We have nerve problems, anxiety, depression, and headaches. All right, let's focus on you for now about stress and how stress is affecting your body. So at the bottom of that stress survey that you're filling out, you'll see in red the wellness scale percent. And so as I'm going through this wellness scale, I want you to think about where are you at on that scale? And where would you like to be on that scale? On the left side, you see 100% function. And on the left side, you see 100% function. On the right side, you see 0% function. That's death. And then in the middle, the big red arrow on the left side, there's no symptoms. And then on the right, you'll see that we have symptoms. So as we lose a little function, our body still can regulate itself. The cells still recognize the bad cells and replaces them with good cells, right? We're not getting sick. We still are vibrant. We have energy. And as we lose more function, closer to 50%, we still have pretty good energy. Memory's pretty good, as long as we eat right and get good sleep. So we start becoming more fragile. And so it's not until we lose 50% function, we get a symptom, a signal of something wrong. So most Americans are walking around at about 50% function, approximately. So what are the first symptoms of misfunction or malfunction? Fatigue, weight gain, heartburn, brain fog, lack of motivation, joint pain, you name it. What do? We self-medicate. Typically the first self-medication is caffeine because we're tired. I love my coffee. I had it this morning, but I didn't need it to get out of bed. I didn't need it to function. I enjoy coffee. There's a difference. And then as we slide down the right side of the scale, we become sicker quicker. We know those people, maybe you're one, and that's okay. No judgment here. You get sicker quicker, right? You have multiple UTI infections, sinus infections, bronchitis. You're always sick because your immune system is weakened from stressors. It's those bears that are chasing you. And then as we get lower on that scale, we are diagnosed. We have to lose a lot of function and feel really bad until we get a diagnosis. And then we're on medications, right? Statins, high blood pressure, levothyroxine. How do I know that name? Because I'm on it. I was diagnosed with Hashimoto over 20 years ago before the functional health space came along. And so working my own FDA methodology for the last 3 years, I have reduced my medication by 50%, 150 micrograms to 88. 3 years ago, I would not be up here talking. There was no way. So then we have a poor prognosis because we're on all these medications, we're living with disease. We've normalized symptoms, have we not? It's normal to be sick. It's normal to be on medications. So now we deal with maybe our parents or people we know, dementia, cancer. How many of you know someone with cancer? How many of those people are under the age of 50? Stroke, heart attack. My father died of a heart attack at 53. He had multiple signs early on. My mother had a heart attack in her early 60s, thyroid cancer as well. My son had a heart attack at 22 and just recently had a scare. Is he overweight? No, he's thin and lean. And so I can say this. When John or Betsy down the road, our neighbors, our friends, have a heart attack or diagnosed with cancer, what do? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Were they on the left side or the right side of the scale? Were they healthy and vibrant, really? Or were there things brewing under the hood? Did they not know what was going on in their body? How important is that for you? So we have this dis-ease, this imbalance as we lose function. And then we have these signals that we accept. We call it normal. Let's go get coffee, Mountain Dews throughout the day, whatever it is to function. Adderall. There's a lot of risk to having that mentality of just taking a pill, right? We have medication side effects. How many have heard those commercials at night? take this pill for your heart and you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke. I mean, Lord, right? But sometimes we have to have medications, maybe, until we get healthier and we can go off of it. So I'm not anti-medication. So supply chain issues is a real stressor. It's a bear for people. 81% of adults, according to the American Institute of Stress, are stressed out about supply chain issues. Are we going to get our eggs? Are we going to have enough gasoline? Can get the part for the car? Well, part for the car, how about the medication that we are relying on? Maybe we shouldn't rely on medications. Get as healthy as possible. What about inflation? What about your spouse losing their job, not being able to afford the medication? Where would you be if you weren't working on your lifestyle, your health? And unfortunately now, tainted fake prescriptions is a real issue. That was fun. Wow. Woo! Let's talk about some more fun. Metabolic chaos. What is metabolic chaos? Okay, here's a scenario. The lab results are not the problem. You may be able to relate to this. Do you feel like this? Do you know someone that feels like this? Weight gain, maybe weight loss resistance. You look at a cupcake, you gain 5 pounds, low energy, hair loss, you see hair in the sink. You have a cluster of symptoms, constipation, aches and pains, whatever your personal cluster of symptoms are that takes you to the doctor. And they're thinking, oh, it's thyroid. Runs a test. Your numbers are out of whack, right? They're out of range. And so the doctor gives you medication to put those numbers back in range, right? He doesn't know a lot about you, right? He just knows that those numbers are out of range. He's going to monitor, titrate accordingly. We need doctors. I like doctors. They have their place. And so you go home and you're taking your medication and you may feel a little better. Those symptoms may go away. You may start losing some weight. But 90 days, 120 days, you start gaining that weight back. Your fatigue comes back. You start seeing more hair in the sink or your bathroom floor. We've all been there, right? And so test after test, titrate the medicine, maybe put you on a second medicine because you're having side effects from the first medicine. Test after test. We know if you only have marginal response, you're in a state, or could you be in a state of metabolic chaos. So as an FDN, the FDN Global Organization, we look at the disease in a new and different way. My clicker. We have a brain, we have a brain, connected to our body through these raw elements. Blood has the hormones, nutrients, immune system, our somatic nervous system, our autonomic, the fight or flight, that keeps us in that survival mode, which really over time becomes very catabolic. We start breaking down. And we have that parasympathetic, the rest and digest system. And we have this thing called chi. Chi is our vital reserve. It's our life force. And so we know when the brain and the body is in harmony and in sync, we are functioning at 100%. That's our goal. Remember the wellness scale? Where were you at on that wellness scale? Did you write it down? Did you self-reflect? Are you too scared to write it down? So we are in a state of ease. We have full vital reserve. We have full chi, life force. But something happens. We have a symptom. We have a signal. These symptoms are not normal, right? They're common. Do you understand that? They're not normal. They're common. So when we have a symptom, we are no longer in homeostasis. We are no longer in balance. We are in dis-ease, moving up that left side of that wellness scale. And when we are in Love it. We'll handle this really just fine. I'm that girl being chased by the bear. We need help. So if you're in a stressful moment, we can do the physiological sigh. So you want a free tip as she fixes this? Here's a free tip. I want everyone, let me demonstrate it, take a really big, deep breath, and then you take the deepest breath you can, and then you take a small one, and this will get you out of that fight or flight and into that rest and digest, that namaste. Okay, so you take a deep breath as much as you can. So you, and then a little one. That's free, and it's accessible 24/7. Thank you, dear. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
Okay, the brain and the body, they're in sync through all these raw elements. And we want to have 100% function. That puts us in this balance. But we have a symptom, not common, or common, not normal, and we're in dis-ease, and that puts us in a state of malfunction. This, my friends, ladies, is metabolic chaos. What do we do when we have a symptom? We seek relief. We go for the pill. We go for the surgery, removal of the gallbladder. We go for the supplement that we found on Facebook, or the hot little lean bodybuilder thing on Instagram, and she's got this fancy probiotic, and we take it. We just want relief, right? It's normal. So we know that symptoms are a signal of something that is wrong, and it's not normal. And these supplements that we take, modalities, devices, they may put those symptoms away for a little bit, but they always come back, and sometimes come back with vengeance. So let's talk about how we get in metabolic chaos, stress. These are the bears. And before I get started, I don't know why my brain always goes here, so I'm going to tell you my little story. My brother, he's older than me. I'm 57 in February, and he's a few years older than me. We didn't have social media and all that good stuff. We played in creeks, would climb trees in the day. So he went out and he was swimming in a creek, came home. I know this might sound kind of gross, I'm sorry. But he had leeches on his legs. And I was like this high. I was like, ooh, and like sucking all the blood. My mom was putting salt or whatever she did to get those leeches off. I think of stressors, as leeches. They're not sucking our blood, they're sucking our energy. And so me, as an FDN, my job is to identify and remove as many stressors as possible so we can restore the energy in the body, right? So, because when we have energy, our bodies know how to heal itself. It can heal itself. Think about it when you get the flu. You're tired, you're sick, a sinus infection. You have less energy. Remember, I stated the definition of health is abundant energy, right? So we have to remove the stressors in order to become healthy. We may not be able to remove all of them, but we need to remove as much as possible. So we have all sorts of bears chasing us and leeches sucking our energy, right? We have mental, emotional. Worry about your job. You have a deadline to meet. You have unresolved emotional trauma from childhood or as an adult, whatever it may be, a rebellious teenager. We've all been there, okay? Mental, emotional stress is a bear. It's a leech. Biomechanical trauma, that could be an old sports injury from high school, from college, car accident, sciatic pain, a bad neck, bad joints, whatever it may be. We have real biomechanical trauma. Also, working in a noisy environment, maybe you sit all day, or repetitive movement. I think of hairstylists. Those are stressors. And like I mentioned, some things we can't quit our job or get rid of our boss, but there are stressors that we can identify and remove. And so there are also the environmental, the biochemical stressors, the hidden stressors, That's where I come in as well, my specialty. I remove and identify stressors through multiple labs. And when we do this, we know we're going to restore health and wellness. And this is what I call corrective care. Removing those stressors, identifying those stressors, and applying wellness principles that we'll get into here in a minute. And so we know when we are moving through this corrective care and we get into this maintenance care, that our bodies are back into a state of ease. And so we can get closer to that 100% function. So maybe you are at 40% or 30% on that wellness scale. My job is to get you over to the left side. And how close can we get to the 100%? We may never get to the 100%, but I can tell you feeling at the 70%, 60% is a lot better than feeling at 30%, right? And so metabolic chaos can be very messy and very complex. And I wanted to bring this up briefly, root cause. Who sees that word all the time on social media? Get to the root cause. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Okay, so my analogy. Kind of envision this in your head. Okay, we have a body of water. You throw a rock in. We have ripples that come from that rock. Those ripples are dysfunctions. The insomnia and the heartburn are just the symptoms from those dysfunctions. You have another rock. Maybe now we have unresolved emotional trauma, divorce, death of a child, sick parent, whatever it may be. Maybe there's some work-related stress. You have a bad boss. You have to keep your job. And then you have another stress. Maybe you have a rebellious teenager. I might have experience with that. So we have multiple rocks, multiple stressors, multiple ripples, dysfunctions. Then those ripples start to interconnect, which creates more complex malfunctions. So now we're really deep in this malfunction. And the root cause cannot be measured at this point. It may be removed. It may be so far gone, but if it even is, those ripples still affect our body. They're still within us, causing symptoms. So this is why within the FDM paradigm, I focus on resolving metabolic chaos, because the root cause may never be identified or unmeasurable. Okay, the fun part. How do I help you? And how I'm different. Not better, it's situational. So I have 3 main steps in my program. 1, 2, 3. First of all, I collect data. I have 2 health assessments, very detailed and in-depth. One I would like to just momentarily talk about. It's called the Metabolic Chaos Scorecard. How do I track your improvement? Sometimes we improve and we forget how sick we were. So I want to track how well you're doing. So at the beginning of the program, we fill out this scorecard. It's a deep, in-depth, quantitative document that tallies up your metabolic chaos score. 0 is perfect. Will any of us ever be at 0? Probably not. 50 and lower would be great. So most people, once they fill this out, all these symptoms that they're having in the HIDDEN sections of my scorecard, I get a number, I get a score. Typically, most of my clients are anywhere from 300 to 700. A lot of symptoms, okay? At the end of the program, they fill it out again. And I literally send them a new one so they don't, and I tell them, do not look at the first one. Because I really don't want them to, right? I want to see how well the program is doing. And invariably, every client that I've had that's followed the program is at least 50% better. So if their score was 300, typically it's about 150 or even 100, okay? Depending on their body, their vital reserve, their energy, everything, right? And so that's one way I track. And I think that's a really critical thing. Because sometimes, like I mentioned, we forget how bad we felt when we first started. And then I have 5 labs that I'll briefly go over. And then I have an investigation. I'm literally your health detective. You become my case study, okay? It's complex because most people who come to me have been stuck in the cycle of trial and error, and they're at the end of their rope, and I want to be your last practitioner. I want to bring you health and wellness. It's my passion. And so my investigation, I research and investigate in the hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production, and the nervous system. There's different and more systems, but these are the systems that we look in. Reed Davis, the founder, he observed and conducted so many tests that he knew in this specific framework, if we looked in these specific systems and we move the needle in each system, and you follow the program, invariably, everyone gets better. Everyone gets better. Do you get 100% better? Not always. 50%, 60%, I take it. I'm 60%, 70% better than I was 3 years ago. I thought I was at my best last year. I know I'm at my best now because I'm standing here talking in front of you all. Okay, I have 5 labs. Why 5 labs? Because we have multiple malfunctions. We have to have a lot of action steps to restore your health and wellness. And so briefly, we're going to talk about this hormone stress profile. This is just a snippet. This is about 6 pages long. And so this basically will tell me how stressed out you are. How bad is your cortisol dysregulation? How depleted are your hormones? Estrogen dominance, testosterone depletion, even estrogen metabolism, which I love this part of the test. I have a couple clients. There's good, bad, and ugly, basically. We want our estrogen to go down the good, not the cancer promoting or not the pathway that, spreads cancer. Not that I can prevent it, but they're clues, and inflammation is usually a cause of that. And we can address that holistically and restore your health. So, if your hormones are depleted, you're going to have a lot of symptoms and a lot of problems throughout your body. The second one we look at, and that was a urine and saliva, okay? The second one we look at is a metabolic assessment profile. It's dried urine. A lot of healing opportunities or malfunctions, healing opportunities, malfunctions, or these are the leaches, okay? All these markers that are out of balance are the leeches that are pulling your energy from your body, and you're unable to maintain health and balance. So here we go, identifying things that cause or markers that show how well or not well that you're digesting food. Dysbiosis. What is dysbiosis? It's an imbalance in your bacteria. Too much bad, not enough good, whatever it may be. We want the microbiome, the bacteria in the gut, to look like a robust rainforest, not a desert, okay? We want great detoxification, so this tells me, is your liver working? Is it not? Is it congested? What is your gallbladder doing? A lot of clues, a lot of clinical correlation between these 5 labs. We have to have clinical correlations, and these labs have to communicate in order to restore your health and balance. Am I losing you all yet? Are you good? Getting tired? Sleepy eyes? Woo! Okay. Leaky gut, intestinal permeability. 3 markers here, healing opportunities. How is your mucosal barrier? What's the integrity? You got big holes, little holes? Are you absorbing your nutrients? Are you not absorbing your nutrients? You got bad pathogens, even food particles leaking through, food particles leaking through your leaky gut into your blood circulation, causing arthritic pain. You think you have arthritis? Or maybe your arthritis is not as bad. Maybe it's just worse because you have leaky gut. Anxiety, depression, all linked to leaky gut and gut dysbiosis. I love that. Get those leaks fixed. We have the 4th test, lab screening. It's a stool sample. That's a fun one. Done that one. Healing opportunities, lots of them here. Bacterial overgrowth. Yes, you can have a thing called bacterial overgrowth that causes a lot of bloatiness and gassiness, and you cannot figure out why. Parasites. Yes, we all have parasites, but sometimes it's not a good thing. You have low stomach acid, heartburn. Are you taking antacids? Those make your stomach acid even lower, and it provides an environment for those parasites to grow and flourish and cause weight loss resistance, anxiety, depression, you name it. Most of my clients have a parasite that we have to get rid of. Yeah, and they look at me like, what? Dysbiosis markers, like once again, does your microbiome look like a rainforest or is it depleted? Intestinal markers, is your pancreas working? Is it releasing enzymes to digest all your carbohydrates, proteins, and fats? All kinds of markers that I could talk about. This is several pages long. The next lab is the food sensitivity lab. Is food the problem or is the host the problem? Usually it's the food, the host that's the problem. But we test for over 176 foods and chemicals. And whatever is flagged, obviously we have to remove those. Those are leeches. Some people are eating avocados, thinking they're eating something healthy. And yeah, I love avocados. I can eat it like an apple. But it could be a flag. You may have to stop eating that for 90 days. It could be a stressor. So even healthy food can be a problem. So we identify all that. Lots of information, right? So then I collect all that data from the labs. I collect all the health assessment. And since I'm your health detective, health coach, partner, I learn so much about your life, everything that you want to tell me, right? I try to get my client to talk about whatever is bothering them in their home life, whatever, because it gives me a full picture of what's going on with that person. And we apply wellness principles. This is the Dress for Health Success program that's been trademarked by Reed Davis. And he learned that applying these wellness principles will restore your health within those 6 systems and ultimately improve your function. So we look at diet. I'm a pro bodybuilder, formerly. I know how to diet. I know how to look good and do all that kind of stuff. But that's not our mission here. We're not chasing aesthetics. We're going to be chasing health. Aesthetics will come. It's not about being skinny. It's not about being, a perfect little size whatever. It's about being healthy. It's about living long and being strong. We don't count calories. We don't measure food. I literally tell my clients, fill the plate up with all the foods that you're allowed to fill it up with. Rest. Are you resting? Are you recovering? Are you that warrior? Oh, I got up 5 a.m. I got 4 hours of sleep. That's all I need because I'm working it. Got 5 businesses. Or maybe we need to stop thinking about being a warrior and not bragging about 4 hours of sleep. We need to get rest. We don't get rest, we will not recover. And this is the hardest step for most people, right? We need to rest. If you're sick and you're not getting your rest, it's going to be very hard to recover. Exercise. Do you exercise too much, too little? I literally had clients I had to stop telling them to exercise. They weren't exercising a lot. Weight loss resistance. When you have depleted hormones that I find on that hormone profile, and your cortisol is so dysregulated that you're in an exhaustive phase, any amount of exercise could make you more sick, more inflamed, more stressed, more difficult to lose weight. So we restore the energy, restore balance, and then we can restore exercise, implement that. I believe exercise is very critical to health. Lack of exercise today is considered the new smoking. It's as bad as smoking when you don't exercise, when you just sit around all day. But sometimes we have to look at the whole picture. Stress reduction. I'm your health detective. I identify all the stressors, all those bears, all those leeches sucking all your energy. but also for those that are unresolved emotional trauma. You know, if I identify that and we discuss that, I may suggest or recommend to go to a professional for emotional trauma. Sciatic pain, that's a bear, that's a leech. You may have to go to a chiropractor. So we have to find all the stressors and reduce them. Ooh, supplements. Most people who come to me are already eating somewhat healthy, exercising, and taking the supplements, but they're stuck in that cycle of trial and error. How many of you have taken a supplement because it was a cool package, marketing? Or you saw it on Instagram, 2 for 1, right? So the supplements that I recommend is based on data. I test and don't guess. So if you're taking a B12 for energy, but you have great levels of B12, why are you taking it? Right? It's a waste of money. It's not doing anything for you. So everything is targeted as I work on the body as a whole unit. And so we have the data, all those leeches, stressors identified. We have the wellness principles, the steps, the lifestyle changes. Now we have to apply it, the diet. Now the real work comes in. You go home and you have all this information, and then you have strategies and tools and a health coach. I've been through it, Hashimoto's, exhaustion, brain fog, just ask my husband, hair loss, seat in the sink, been there, done it. I know the strategies. I know how to diet down. I know how to do all that. I know all the tricks in the box to stay healthy. And it's not easy. So when someone comes to me with 20 years of bad habits, it's hard to change. It's not an easy program. But people who come to me, they're ready for a change. They feel bad. They feel really bad. And so we work together. Not only do I have 15 sessions, since I'm not a revolving door, and I don't want to be a revolving door because I want every client to be special and a case study. I don't want you to be a number. I have open communication 9 to 5 through my phone, texting, calls, and I try to answer. If not, I do, especially with my clients, within 24 hours. If I can't pick up the phone, I'll text, say, hey, I'm busy, I'll call you back in a few minutes. So the CDC statistics, this is in 2021, could be higher. I wasn't going to search more. 20 to 40% of premature deaths. How many people you know that have died at a young age from whatever disease before 75 could have been prevented, can be prevented through lifestyle changes. But we've normalized going out to dinner. We've normalized drinking wine every night, a glass of wine that's really like a half a bottle of wine. We've normalized being sick. So are people motivated? I think so. I think people have good intent. They just lack the support. And some people, you'll call your friend. Let's do this together. It's January 1st. Let's go to the gym. Let's sign up. Let's work out. You guys have good intent, good motivation. You last about 90 days. And then we quit. Why? Life. Kids, husband, dinner, just life, obstacles, challenges, working late, right? So the lack of support is critical. I feel like this step here is probably the most critical part for the success of my clients. So we have choices. Do we opt in to self-care? Do we educate ourselves, empower ourselves, and be more preventive? It's never too late. There's always hope. Even if you're down that 30%, there's always hope to get back on that left side of that wellness scale. Or are we forced into this dis-ease, the disease, and rely on the doctors? We like doctors, of course we do. But even if we are on some medications, do we want to rely all on that, or do we want to work towards restoring our health? So in summary, I test, I don't guess, right? I have a lot of information through the health assessments, all the labs, all those healing opportunities. I look at everything. I learn a lot about you. We actually developed a really strong partnership, intimate relationship where I know a lot about you, and I design the protocol for you. It's not cookie cutter. Like I mentioned, you become my case study. I'm not a revolving door. It's hard to change your lifestyle, right? So I really just take very committed people into my program. I've actually had to say no to a couple people. You have to be serious, right? I wear multiple hats. I'm a health coach. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. I'm a health planner, a health strategist. I'm a health partner with you. So I wear multiple hats. We're women. We multitask, right? We're good at it. I just happen to be really good at changing lifestyle and maintaining it because discipline is a muscle, okay? It gets stronger as you go. 10-year projection. You know, people say, how long do you want to live? Oh, okay, I'm going to live to 90. Okay, what about the quality? How do you want to live the last 10 years of your life? Who do you know that is elderly, maybe, and their quality is really not there? And thankful we're here to help those, our parents or our grandparents, right? They didn't have the luxury of knowing the things that we know today. So we have the knowledge now, and we have the data, we have the opportunity. So when you're 70, how do you want to be? Do you want to be able to go to the grocery store, carry your own groceries into your car? Do you want to be able to walk up the stairs, or do you have to sell your house and no stairs? Which is not a bad idea anyways. Do you want to be able to walk to the mailbox? Do you want to be able to pick up your great-grandchild? I have a grandchild. I still wrestle with her on the floor. Can you do that now? Can you wrestle on the floor? Get up easily? Invest in yourself. I think women invest in everybody else. What do they say on an airplane? Take the oxygen mask, take care of yourself before you can take care of others. What legacy do you want to leave to your children? Rely on medications, eat poor. Just a thought really quick. I'm not going to go down the weeds, promise. But it is today's generation. The kids, the children, are dying before their parents. I don't know the statistics on it. I just know that it's really not a good thing right now. So invest in yourself. We spend $5,000 on a trip. You just use that charge. Don't care. We feel good for a week. We come back to life and we feel like crap. Invest in yourself. Most people work hard and spend their health trying to achieve wealth. Then they retire and spend their wealth trying to get back their health. How many people do you know that's doing that? Right? What is your why? I know my why. It's got to be deep. It's got to be serious. A person without a plan is a person without a future. A person without a future is a person bound to return to their past. How many times have you tried to change your lifestyle? Always go back to square one. It's not that you don't think it's important. I know. It's a lack of support. Thank you.